Hi, and welcome back to our accounting discussion today. So, as part of our lesson today, we are going to begin with IFRS accounting standards, generally, as part of the accounting issues when it comes to preparation of the financial statement. So, today we have on the screen here IAS 8, accounting policies, changes in accounting estimates, and errors. So, now let's begin like this. You know that when it comes to preparation of a financial statement, okay, every business prepares its financial statement based on certain conditions, based on certain criteria, based on certain rules that are adopted by them to prepare its financial statement, right? And then also there are certain aspects of the financial statement too, where the management or the directors have to make an estimate of certain things that will go through some of these things. And then possibly there are also issues of errors that will come in when it comes to preparation of financial statement. And once the errors are identified, it has to be corrected. So that is the whole idea when it comes to the accounting policy, changes in accounting estimates, and then errors. But let's begin it proper. As I began just a few seconds, that when it comes to the accounting policies, as preparation of the financial statement is concerned, every business prepare its financial statement based on certain rules, based on certain assumptions, based on certain practices, conventions, and ideas that helps them to prepare the financial statement. So that will lead us for us to discuss intensively what an accounting policy is. And then we'll jump in to discuss what an accounting estimate is, and then finally we finalize it with errors. So let's talk about the accounting policies. When we say accounting policies, what are they? Accounting policies. So when we say an accounting policy, as I said earlier, accounting policy simply has to do with the practices, the conventions, the rules that an entity would have to select and applied in the preparation of what? The financial statement. There are rules, conventions, practices, customs, or ideas that an entity selected and they are applied in the preparation of the financial statement. For example, when it comes to how we account for depreciation, when it comes to how we account for depreciation of non-current assets, here an entity is allowed to adopt a policy whether to use, say, the cost model or the revaluation model. And that's what policy is all about, right? So this is one aspect when it comes to what? The accounting policy. But the big question we have to ask ourselves is then that when an accounting policies are adopted and are selected for preparation of a financial statement, how then should an entity select an accounting policy? That is a big question we're supposed to ask ourselves. That if you know that accounting policy are rules, conventions, practices, customs, and ideas that are selected by the entity and are applied in the preparation of the financial statement, the big question is that how then do we select an accounting policy? When it comes to the accounting policy, these are the steps you have to follow in selecting of the accounting policy. So one, when it comes to selection of the accounting policy, one have to refer to what? The interpretation of the standard, or one have to refer to the standard or the interpretation of what the standard. That is one aspect when it comes to what? How we select an accounting policy. So we refer to the standard or the interpretation of the standard on how we treat a particular transactions or what? An event. That is the first step. That first condition have to met before we can say that this is an accounting policy. That's the first condition. The second condition has to do with where, okay, we don't have any standard that is applicable to the treatment of that particular transaction or the event. How then do we go? Here, this is where we bring in what we call management judgment. Management judgment. Management judgment. Here, we give the management an opportunity to come out with how we can deal a particular transaction. So here we call it management judgment. Management have to adopt a judgment that will help to be able to actually deal with that particular transaction or the event. So one one have to refer to the standard or the interpretation of the standard in treating of the transaction or the event. That is one. And two, if there are no standard that is applicable in the treatment of that event or the transaction, then an entity based on the management view have to what, come out with something to be able to help us to, treat that particular event or the transaction. But there are conditions as to how management use their judgment. That's what we need to know. So when it comes to management using their judgment, these are the things that we're supposed to understand when it comes to management using their judgment. So in management using their judgment, we are saying that management first have to also refer to how similar standards will deal with what, that particular event or the transaction. The way a standard deal with a similar event or transaction, management have to look out for that and then come out with what, something to deal with that particular event. So the way, if there was a standard, how it would have treated that particular event or that transaction, that is what management first have to adopt when it comes to using management judgment. Here is still management judgment, but yes, we want that how the standard will have treated similar event or transaction. This is where we expect management to go by when it comes to using management judgment. Second has to do with management also have to follow the conceptual definitions of what we call asset, the asset, liability, income, and what? Expenses. How the definition of the conceptual framework of these elements of the financial statement help us to understand, or the interpretation to it. Management may also have to follow that interpretation or that definition in treating of what, that event in relation to assets, liabilities, income, and what? Expenses. Then also, still we are still in the management judgment. Even though we are saying management have to use their own judgment. In fact, yes, so all that we are trying to push management is for them to, ensure reliability and what, consistency, so that when we compare financial statements of one period against the other, we can have consistency and then reliable and relevant what information to users of the accounting information. So these are some of the reasons why you will have to ensure that management have to what, follow the definitions in the conceptual framework of assets, liabilities, and then the income elements or the interpretation to that. Another reason in using management judgment has to do with where management have to what, make references to what we call accounting literatures. Here you are talking about publications, research that people have done based on what, the discipline accounting. We are saying that management in using their judgment also have to make references to some of these accounting literatures, industrial best practices, and then publications of these accounting theories and then principles that must adhere to in that line. So these are some of the reasons that in using management judgment, they have to follow, or the conditions they have to follow in order to use and make proper informed judgment in how to treat a standard which you don't have any particular standard to deal with that event or that transaction. So that is how an accounting policy is selected. So as a quick recap, we said that when it comes to selection of the accounting policy, first one have to refer to the interpretation of the standard or how the standard will treat that event or the transaction. And two, one also have to make reference to, should in case we don't have any standard to deal with that particular event or transaction, there should be what we call, we should give management room to be able to come out with their own judgment and know how to treat that particular standard. And we said that in following management judgment, first, one have to look out for how a standard will have treated similar event or transaction. Management have to follow that. Secondly, management also have to follow the definitions of the conceptual framework with respect to assets, liabilities, income, and then expenses, and then make references to accounting literatures, best industrial practices, or publications in that line. So this is what it comes in when we are talking about how to select an accounting policy. So what constitutes an accounting policy? Having to know how to select an accounting policy. So when it comes to an accounting policy, we have to know that this is an accounting policy that has an entity have adopted in the preparation and presentation of the financial statement. Then there should be three items that must be present. We need to understand the recognition the recognition criteria of that policy, we also need to understand what we call the measurement of that, and then lastly, presentation and disclosure or disclosures. Presentation and then disclosures. So these are the three items that constitute an accounting policy. So when it comes to the recognition, for example, when it comes to how we recognize what? An expenditure item, you may have capital expenditure or revenue what? Expenditure. For the most part, capital expenditure will be what? Capitalized and added to the cost of that particular item, and then recognize it in the statement of the financial position. And for revenue expenditure, you may also write it off in the income statement, that is the profit and loss statement. So for an accounting policy to be selected by an entity, then we are saying that these are the things that should constitute what an accounting policy should be for an entity. Recognition criteria should be met. Then secondly, the measurement basis. The measurement base of that policy. We did mention of what? Depreciation. And we said that when it comes to depreciation, we can use what? Either the cost model or the revaluation model. So here, when it comes to the measurement basis, we are saying that accounting policy should have either the cost model, all right, or the other model, or we may have others that will be applicable given the policy that has been selected by an entity in the preparation and presentation of the financial statement. And lastly, the presentation and disclosure. So here, this is where we present the item of what? Assets, liabilities, income, equity, and expenses in the financial statement. Whether we present it as an item in the income statement or as an item in the statement of the financial. So here we're talking about classification and categorization. If the item is under current asset, then it falls under current asset. For example, inventory falls under the current asset. If it's cash, it falls under current asset. If it's property, plants, and equipment, it falls under non-current asset. If it is, say, payables, then it falls under what? Current liability. So for an accounting policy to be constitute to be a policy for an entity, then it's supposed to capture these three items that we're supposed to have here: the recognition criteria, the measurement, and then the presentation and then disclosure. So these are the things that constitute an accounting policy. So that is what we need to understand when it comes to accounting policy, how we select an accounting policy, and what constitutes an accounting policy. Thank you for watching. So in our next section, we are going to continue with how, if an accounting policy is adopted and applied by an entity, should the entity consistently use that policy? Or if there is a change, how should that also change should affect or take place when it comes to preparation of the financial statement? And then we'll look out for the estimates and then we'll talk about the errors. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next section. Bye.